What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. I am so excited for today's episode because in today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you a little hack that I discovered to extend your growing season all the way through winter. That's right, you did not hear that wrong, all the way through winter. Now, 2 years ago, we showed you all how to make a caterpillar tunnel, and that basically utilized some little C-clamps, some PVC pipe, and some poly cover to make just kind of a rustic style little raised bed greenhouse. Worked out great, absolutely terrific. But the one issue we had is that though the plants did not die, they also didn't really grow. We needed just a little bit more heat, just a little bit more, a little bit better growing conditions for them to really grow. And so I got thinking, and I know everyone always asks, Luke, I'd really like some other alternatives. I'd really like to grow food longer into the season. And I'd like to have more food production even into winter if that's possible. And so I said, okay, I know I can't let you all down. I know that I want to do better myself as a gardener, but I also want to share some really cool things with you guys. So I got to thinking back to an early childhood memory of my parents. They had an English Tudor style home. And English Tudors, they're known for having a really steep roof, but then it kind of flares out at the end and kind of tapers off. It loses that pitch at the ends. And during the winter months, what we would experience is a lot of ice damming. A lot of ice would kind of dam up there and just sit on those little flare out wings on each side of the roof line. And we had a gentleman come out that assessed the damage and stuff because it was starting to kind of ruin the roof line a little bit actually because of the weight. And he said, oh, I got a simple fix for you guys. It's called de-icing cable. And I thought, de-icing cable. And this was from 10, no, actually longer, probably more like 12 years ago, this guy came out to assess their house. And thinking back to that moment, I thought, I wonder if that technology still exists. So I got on the computer, did some little research, and lo and behold, I found it. De-icing cable. You guys, this is a game changer, and I'm so excited about this because this is the answer to all of my problems right here. This is a weatherproof coated cable that plugs in using three-prong regular 120 volt. And I got this from our local hardware store. This is a 300 watt roof de-icing cable, 60 feet in length. I got it for I think $38.90 or something like that, $39.10, something like that. No more than $40. This is such a great little hack because what this is going to do is we're actually going to bury this in the soil. And when we bury it in the soil, it's going to utilize the soil as a thermal mass source. The soil is going to absorb the heat from this cable, and it's basically going to radiate that heat up through the plants, keeping the root system thawed. And the root system is usually the most temperamental part of the plant. The leaves, they take a beating all the time, especially on cold weather crops like kale and stuff. But you'll notice, we had 22-degree weather last night, and you'll notice, our kale is perfectly fine. Kale has adapted cold hardy greens like spinach and lettuce and kale, cabbages, collard greens, things like that. They've adapted to growing even in really cold weather. But the root system can take some stress. And so if you can keep the root system thawed and warm, the plant itself can actually send warm sugar water up into the leaves that's being stored in the roots. And that warmth is actually going to keep the plant healthier, allowing it to actually grow more. Because that was one of the biggest issues, is that our plants never really died, but they didn't really grow a whole lot either. We were just missing one little component, and that was that tiny little bit of warmth. This is the solution, folks. I'm so excited to bring this little hack out to you guys. So yeah, I got this from our hardware store. I will post links in the description box below to where you can get it. It'll help support the show, but this is great. It comes in, I think, like 30 feet length, 60 feet lengths, up to, I think, about 200-foot lengths. And we're just going to apply this to our garden beds that we're going to have covered and growing crops in throughout winter. And we're basically going to apply this just like we would drip tape. Very, very simple. So with that being said, I'm going to get this set up. I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. We're going to get this installed and get growing. All right, let's go. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to take the cable and I want to kind of see where this is going to go, because once I bury it, it's going to stay buried throughout winter. And so I don't want to bury this part of the cable, and I don't want to bury, I basically want to leave everything past this thermostat out of the soil, because if it gets below freezing above soil, I want this to kick on. So I'm going to leave all of this outside of the raised bed, just like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this along, and I'm just going to run this, and since it's 60 feet and our beds are only 10 feet lengths, I can basically weave this back and forth in my raised bed just like I would drip tape. All right, so as you can see here, we've got our 4 lines of our heated cable here, and we're just gonna basically zigzag them around, just snaking them throughout the raised bed here. All right, so now I'm just going to run my shovel along here to make the trenches, and I don't want to bury this super deep because the cable itself, it's not going to warm up to like 80 degrees. So it's going to be warm, but it won't be hot. And so I don't want to dig it super deep, but I also don't want it so shallow that that it really inhibits the root system. So I'm probably going to dig this, each little trench here, I'm probably going to dig, I'd say maybe, I don't know, 3-4 inches, possibly, something like that. Just deep enough to where it's, the roots are going to eventually come in contact with it, but it's not going to just be right on top of the soil surface either. Alrighty, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the end I'm going to start with, make sure that is well out of the raised bed here, and I'm just going to bury it and cover it as I go. Keeping it really simple here. I'll tell you, I'm glad I came out here and did this now before I waited till the soil was much colder, because whew, soil's cold on the hands. It's pretty chilly. Last night it got down to about 20 or so degrees. We had a nice layer of ice on the bird bath when I woke up this morning, so it definitely got cold. We're gonna have way more than enough. This is fantastic. All right, so I've got my extension cord hooked up. It's going to the garage, and I've actually got that hooked up to a timer. So it's going to go on at sunset and turn off at sunrise. And the reason why is because I don't want this kicking on and using power when it's not necessary. The sun's energy is so much stronger than anything that I'm gonna lay in the soil is gonna be. And I'm gonna have a hoop house coming over top of this. So it's gonna trap the sun's energy when the sun is out. So it really doesn't make any sense to have one running when the sun is doing the job for you. So I've got that turned on for sunrise and sunset. And now all we have to do is just take this and hook it up to the heating cable. There we go. And it's as simple as that. Job done. That's fantastic. I am so excited. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. The next thing we're going to do is get this all planted out. I'm going to plant it out with some spinach for about a quarter of this, some baby kale for another quarter, and then I'm probably going to do some lettuce for a quarter, and we might try some either arugula or spinach. I'm not sure. We have a lot of arugula already, so maybe some spinach, or maybe some radishes, I mean. So we'll have 25%, 4 different varieties, cold hardy, super cool. So I'm super excited, cannot wait. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this episode. Again, I'll have links to where I got this in the description box below, and you guys can check it out for yourself. All right, grow big or go home, everyone. See ya. Bye.